If police were called to a group home more than 100 times, would that raise a red flag? This is Behind the Investigation with Atlanta News First. I'm Sierra Cummings, investigative reporter, and I'm joined with my colleague, investigative reporter Andy Parati. Good to have you here, Andy.
Thank you for having me.
This is a project you've been working on for months, and it's about licensed care homes. Talk to me about Casey.
Casey Christopher is a young man with severe autism. He needs constant supervision. The state took custody from his mom about 8 years ago because he kept running away from her. So the state takes custody. She doesn't want the state to take custody. They put him in a group home operated by a company called Brightstar. Well, the same thing starts happening, but the allegations get much worse.
Clayton County Police respond to a call in 2023 to help find a missing man.
How many times is this we've been looking for this guy? 6, 7? Probably 10.
A familiar request for officers day
We've been doing this for years.
and night.
Casey!
You hear him? Harley, he's right here.
He's Casey Christopher, diagnosed with severe autism. The 27-year-old loves construction equipment, his family, and country music. But he often runs away.
Come on, man, let's go.
How you doing?
Let's wait for some other people.
God bless you, man.
Casey has repeatedly told officers he runs away because he doesn't like his home.
Why'd you leave?
I got scared.
You got scared of what?
I don't like being in the house.
You don't like being in the house no more.
This is where Casey lives in Jonesboro, Georgia. The home is operated by a company called Brightstar Homes and Services, which cares for adults with developmental disabilities. About 8 years ago, his mother says the Georgia Department of Human Services gained custody of Casey and placed him in the company's care. Since then, he's lived in these two homes run by Brightstar. According to Clayton County Police records, officers have responded at least 228 times to the homes within the past 7 years. Many of those calls involving Casey.
Where do you want to be? You want to be with your parents. He said the same thing last time I ever was, guy.
Shirley Christopher and John Shaw are Casey's parents.
I really feel that this has got out of hand.
Shirley admits the state took custody of Casey after he ran away from her dozens of times. But over the past few years, she says something more alarming has happened while in the care of the state and Brightstar. Allegations of abuse.
No, I said no.
This is a video Casey's mother recorded this past March while her son was inside his Brightstar home. Take a listen.
Don't go out to this. Did you hear me? Don't go out.
Who's that? Who is that?
Shut up.
There was a lot of times that I would be on the phone with him, and he would say, "So-and-so punched me. So-and-so punched me." I'm not a father if I don't address that.
This past February, Clayton County Police responded to a call involving a Brightstar employee accused of alleged assault and exploitation of a disabled person. According to the incident report, a staff member hit Casey with a metal stool. About a month and a half later, officers responded to the home again. The report claims Casey was thrown onto the hardwood floor. While police closed that case with no arrests in both cases, officers said staff did not cooperate with their investigations, writing that a supervisor refused to identify herself. At the time, its business license expired.
What goes through my mind when people hinder an investigation is that they might have something to hide.
Rena Harris is with the Georgia Advocacy Office, tasked with protecting adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities. After we shared our findings, she now plans to ask the state to investigate.
It sends up a red flag to us at the Georgia Advocacy Office. It also should be sending up red flags with the state agencies.
Atlanta News First Investigates sent multiple emails to Brightstar requesting an interview about the claims. Over the phone, its owner told us an attorney would respond.
Hi.
When that didn't happen, we stopped by its office in McDonough, Georgia, 2 days later.
We're trying to just ask what you guys are doing to keep Casey safe.
No one spoke to us.
Okay, sure. Can I give you my card? Okay.
The company then called police on us. When an officer arrived, he quickly allowed us to leave after we identified ourselves and explained what happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, you got it.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Why are you running again, man?
If he stays with Brightstar, what's your biggest worry?
That he's gonna end up dead. No doubt about it. He's gonna end up dead. We're gonna get a phone call
Or
one
he's
day.
gonna keep being abused.
Officers sharing similar concerns.
Brightstar needs to know how to keep this guy in this damn house. Something's gonna happen. I'm telling you. Something's gonna happen to this guy. I'm telling you. There's only one way this ends, man.
Andy, you have some really compelling video there. You were nearly arrested after reporting on the story.
Well, I don't know about nearly arrested, but here's how it went down. We showed up at the office, the main office of the company, and while we're waiting, trying to get someone to talk to us about the allegations of abuse involving Casey, you could hear someone on the other side of the wall, because the walls were pretty thin, you could hear them calling the cops on us. So they asked us to leave. We leave immediately. And then we're in our car, and the photographer we're working with, he was like, "We should go." And I'm like, "No, let's stay. I don't want the police to try to find us. Let's just explain the situation." When we arrived, the officer couldn't have been more nice. I explained the situation. I said, "Here's why we're here. Here's a, you can go inside and get the folder," but I handed them multiple incident reports of allegations of abuse. And I said, as soon as they asked us to leave, we left. And he said, "Okay, thanks." And he walked right back to his vehicle. But it looked like something much more nefarious was happening, because like 3 other cop cars showed up all at the same time. And I get it. Like, this is a facility. It's a daycare facility essentially for adults with severe developmental disabilities. And so when they get a call saying that something's happening, of course they want to respond. But what the police officer didn't know is probably why we were there. And as soon as we explained that, they were pretty cool.
And you got Brightstar's response in this story, but anything that the company has said post this story, like since it's aired, it's been a couple days now.
No, we did get a response this morning from the Department of Community Health. They license these facilities, and they basically said that they kind of gave me the boilerplate response, saying we care about these individuals. We want to see them not be harmed. And then they said, oh, and you may want to check essentially our records, our online portal, to see what their inspection records were. And so they showed me an incident from, there's an inspection record showing that they had violated a couple of things related to Casey's care in April. But there are no violations involving the one in February where someone allegedly hit Casey with a metal stool, and someone who has an active warrant out for their arrest. So it's just interesting, because even though the police department may close the case, it doesn't mean that they're not cited by the state, or vice versa. So no response as of yet from Brightstar. Even after the story aired, the state did respond, but they're sort of not responding in a way that the family would want, which is to revoke their license and give them the guardianship back for Casey.
You know what? And saying the family is frustrated is such an understatement. They're afraid for their child's life. What kind of recourse do they have? What's next for this family?
So they have an attorney, but it is really expensive to hire an attorney and fight the state to gain guardianship. They just got a new sort of state employee that is now supposed to be over Casey, so they're hoping maybe that relationship was better, and that changed in the course of our investigation of reaching out to the state. I have no idea whether it was because of our involvement, or maybe it was just time that someone else in the state agency take guardianship over Casey. But the family is hopeful that things are going to start changing. It just costs a lot of money, and to be fair, there's a reason why they took Casey into guardianship, took Casey away from his mom, is because he was gone dozens of times, ran away from her dozens of times. So I think right now is the family, the state, they need to find a solution, because right now it's not working.
Yeah, and let's sit with that for a little bit. Guardianship. Can you explain that a little further? The family still has every right to fight for their child. Guardianship doesn't mean they lose all rights altogether forever.
Right. So they can go to court, ask a judge, plead their case, and in this case, what they would probably do is say, "Hey, here are all the instances when the state and Brightstar were taking care of Casey. Here are all these allegations of abuse, and even show like their business license was expired during one of the cases of abuse." So they have the opportunity to go back and ask a judge and plead their case. I just don't know how good of a case they have considering their background.
Yeah.
They didn't have any cases of allegations of physical abuse like what's happened at Brightstar. But the family, and I asked them in the interview, I did not include in the edited piece, but I was like, but can you take care of Casey? And they believe they can. So
Wow.
we'll see.
We know you'll stay on top of this. If someone wants to reach out to you, we're always looking for story ideas. Tell us how they do that.
Yeah, I'm on all the socials.
All the
Andy
socials.
Parati, andy.parati@wanf.com, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Reach out to me. It's
All
easy to
right.
find me.
Great reporting. You've been watching and listening to Behind the Investigation with Atlanta News First Investigates. Be sure to watch or listen wherever you get your podcasts.